This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Let's talk about some sad news. April 28th, 2005, just 4 days after breaking his ankle during a match in TNA, Chris Candido passes away. He had surgery to repair it. He has a blood clot that forms when he's flying home, and unfortunately it causes him to pass away. Chris wrestled as Skip in the WWF. We lost him way too soon. Any fun or interesting stories you can share with us about Chris besides the, if I wanted to hook you, you'd be hooked from Briscoe?
You know, I often times used to make fun of Chris from calling him Skippy because there was so much. Chris was such a talented, god damn. I mean, you talk about someone having it all. Chris had it all. And Chris could work. Chris could talk. And if he was six inches taller, would have been the world champion.
Yeah.
Chris also had the attitude of someone that was 8 feet tall and 300 pounds. Had a chip on his shoulder because he was a bit smaller than the rest of the guys. But if you got to know Chris was like a child in many ways. He just wanted to be a wrestler. He just wanted to go in the ring every night and have a match and take the audience on a ride. And that's what I loved about Chris Candido. He was just a pure fan with a pure love of the business. One of the funniest Candido stories was when he became the NWA World Champion. He was in an airport and he goes to the bathroom and he looks over and there's Lou Thez. He had never met Lou Thez before. This had to be in the 2000s, I guess, or no, maybe 90s. What had to be the 90s when Chris was NWA champion? This is when the NWA was basically the king of the indies.
Right.
And he was, oh my God, there's Lou Thez. So to him, there's a walking, talking God in the flesh standing next to him at the urinal.
In 94, by the way.
94. And Chris introduces himself. Hello, Mr. Thez. And he goes, I'm Chris Candido. This is so surreal. I'm the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And to see you now and to meet you, this is such a huge honor. And Thez says to him, he says, well, kid, he goes, I'll give you some advice. Just always make sure that you get your correct percentage on the belt. Now, what's comical about that is back in the day, Thez, was drawing houses and the champion drew, and the champion got 10% of the gate. And, Lou would always go out and try and count the house and try to figure out what his percentage should be. Well, now times had changed. Times had changed greatly in that the world champion didn't get 10% of the gate anymore, and then the NWA didn't get their percentage and all the other bullshit that went along with it. And Chris just was so tickled at the fact that Lou, in many ways, was so out of touch that he still thought that the NWA championship meant that Chris got 10% of the gate. And then Chris started doing the ciphering and figuring. He goes, fuck, I'd lose money if all I got was 10% of the fucking gate. So it was always that innocence and just a pure love of the business that Chris had. And to lose him so young for a freak accident, which is really what it was, and something going horribly wrong, I think that the business lost a hell of a talent that day, because Chris could have taught, Chris could have continued on, and as the business changed and morphed over the years, I firmly believe that Candido could have been one of those that could have excelled above and beyond what he did, because he had that kind of heart and that kind of talent.
It's worth mentioning, and I feel weird even saying this, but how fucking awesome would he be as a trainer in NXT?
He'd be tremendous. He really would. And because Chris was very fundamentally sound, he loved the fundamentals and he loved the simplicity of wrestling. And that's what he wanted to do. And he did it better than anybody. So you take all of those things and it's, he would have been a great trainer. He would have been an excellent trainer. And I think he would have been a bigger star too.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.